evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the English news from Djibouti Channel. Here are the headlines of our edition tonight. In national news, the head of state preside over the first Council of Ministers of the new government. On continental news, EU countries call for an ambitious climate strategy. That were our top stories. And now, if you join us on Djibouti channels, the head of state, Excellency Mr. Ismail Anglais, shared this morning the first meeting of the Council of Ministers follows the reshuffles last Sunday on the Ramadan, the first of the Ramadan. Early this morning, all the government members present, headed by the Prime Minister, to attend the first inaugural meeting of the new government. The new government accounts and the outgoing government, but the novelty that 4 ministers have made their entry. This is Mr. Mohamed Warsamadiri, Minister of Health. Mr. Abdurrahman Aden has appointed to the Minister of Budget, the Minister of Mr. Osman Ibrahim Roble to the Minister of Labor, and the Minister of Communication. Other novelly 5 ministers remain in the government but have changed their job. There are Mr. Ali Hassan Bahdan, former Defense Minister, who passed to the Justice, Mr. Hassan Omar, former Minister of the Interior, assigned to the Minister of Defense, and finally Mr. Mumin Ahmed Sheikh, outgoing Minister of Justice, who becomes marine scientist from the inside in the new government. The 2 other ministers are changing their portfolio. Transport Minister Mohammed Abdul Qadir Hilim is moving into town planning and the environment, occupied by Mr. Musa Mohammed Ahmed, taking over the equipment and transport in the new government. Some ministerial department will be at the center of the government action. And finally, the Department of Tourism, seconded from the Minister of Commerce, will now be dependent on the Minister of Environment. After the family photo, the President of the Republic held the first meeting of the 10th session of the Council of Ministers, which was intended for the first contact with the new government, which still has 24 members. The President of the Republic, His Excellency Mr. Ismail Anglais, welcomed the new members of the government and communicated the highlights of the roadmap of the government by setting broad guidelines and important priorities. During the meeting, the President of the Republic sent an important message to set up the work in the different building sites. He said that to meet the aspirations of Djibouti is essential to produce results. He called on the new members of government to get down to the work quickly to address the many challenges of making a sustained effort in youth employment and in public policies for women and girls, and also promoting housing decent for all.
Mesdames et Messieurs les ministres, je voudrais d'abord vous souhaiter la bienvenue. Mes félicitations d'abord. Et vous souhaiter la bienvenue aux ministres qui viennent de rejoindre l'équipe gouvernementale.
First of all, I would like to congratulate you and welcome the ministers who have just joined the team of the government. This new government reflects my firm commitment to accelerate the work accomplished so that the many projects we have initiated can be completed quickly and produce the expected result to meet the aspiration of all compatriots. I want greater efficiency and speed in government work. I therefore expect greater cohesion and synergy between ministers. You must all get to work quickly because we face many challenges for the well-being of our fellow citizens and to lead our country towards greater progress and prosperity. Indeed, I want even more sustained efforts to be devoted to the employment and employability of young people by working to ensure that our education system opens up more opportunities for vocational training. I expect special attention to be paid to public policies for women and girls, and I place the promotion of decent housing and access to housing for all at the heart of our priorities. I want innovative social inclusion instruments such as universal health coverage and support for people with special needs to be expanded and strengthened. I want us to continue to build our country's energy security and in so doing lay the foundation for energy that is available and accessible to all our fellow citizens. An affordable price in our country must take advantage of its many assets to develop effective digital technologies. Mr. Prime Minister, distinguished ministers, you must focus on reforms and result-based management in order to meet the expectation of all compatriots and the many challenges of the noble mission of the government. We must strengthen the foundation of our economy and work to transform our strategic vision into concrete actions that can generate positive impact for our population. I expect each of you to integrate the principle of government solidarity, exemplarity, and efficiency into the work philosophy. In this regard, I have instructed that a rigorous system for monitoring ministerial performance be put in place within the Prime Minister's office so that the result obtained at the ministerial level can be regularly reviewed and evaluated. The Prime Minister will be the conductor of this new team, which I want to be both efficient of work and close to the people. Government action is a collective action. That is why I assign to our collective ambition a clear goal, that is solidarity of inclusive development, that of courageous and determined march towards an emerging Djibouti. I wish you all success in the accomplishment of your mission.
The Minister of Health, Mr. Mohamed Warsa Madiria, spent his first field visit to the camp drug purchase center to inquire about the availability of drugs in sufficient quantities within this procurement structure. Welcomed on arrival by the new director of camp, Dr. Ahmed Hussein Miguel, the Minister of Health reviewed a guard of honor formed by the staff of camp. The Minister of Health, Mr. Mohamed Warsa Madiria, then made a visit of the various warehouse of the stock of drugs with the Secretary General of Health, Dr. Saleh Benoit Trab, and representative of donor in the case of UNDP. Finally, the Minister took the opportunity to inquire about the availability of the new stock of anti-malarial drugs of better preventive and curative management against malaria. Helping and giving hope to people with intellectual disabilities in the area of the units is the goal and associations for solidarity and for more ecology of Dakhil. For more details, let's follow this report.
To mentally disabled people in the unity area is the goal of Dakhil Solidarity of Ecology Association. Created in 2017, this association, in collaboration with the Ministry of Social Affairs and recently the National Agency of Disabled People, works for the promotion of the rights. Its action began with the collection of establishment of a database of mentally disabled people throughout the region, which currently numbers almost 200 men, women and children. Thus, the first gesture of the organization, supported by all civil society in the region, was to find solution to feed at least those living in the capital a successful bet at the beginning of Ramadan, thanks to the benefactor of the region. To identify each beneficiary The association keeps an individual record that provides information on personal and medical identity as explained by the ASED president. This file allows us to identify the people who have listed, who have classified them by age category. For example, for this girl we have her photo, her age, her address, her marital status, the follow-up CNSS card with which she is cared for. In case of emergency, we also have contact information, current information that allows us to follow and help. Trusting people with intellectual disabilities is also the goal of ACEB, which collecting from the benefactors of the region, from the diaspora, but also thanks to the help of the National Network of Social Development that support the organization and promises to do it regularly in the name of solidarity, according to its president, Idris Mumin. Dear Dikulowas, whether you are a local authority or a civil society, you always have this feeling of solidarity and of helping others. You have always brought the population closer to fight against inequalities. This rapprochement was born solidarity, we all know it. All of these clothes stored at headquarters are distributed periodically to people with mental disorders. These actions, which are part of the continuity, have also led ASEB managers to rationalize their services by creating a solidarity fund. This solidarity also brings former beneficiaries whose health status has improved to lend a helping hand. Idris Ali is one of these young people who support. The most important action remains medical assistance. The medical hospital has a psychiatric nurse, but specialized consultations are also done thanks to the medical caravans. Dr. Idris is coming back for us on these interventions. The Association for Solidarity and Ecology of Dikil attempts to expand its activities, but at this stage its actions are limited, so the means are lacking. Helping ASED, it is giving hope to people with intellectual disability.
The ambassador of Djibouti in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, His Excellency Mr. Diyaeddin Said Bamakhrama, accompanied by the coordinator of geographic groups, the diplomatic corps, met the Emir of Riyadh in his office in the governor of the Riyadh. The ambassador Diyaeddin Bamakhrama presented to the prince on behalf of the diplomatic corps a greeting on the occasions of the blessed month of Ramadan and exchanged with the prince the views on several issues, including major development projects. World Red Cross and Red Crescent Day was celebrated this morning in the National Red Cross Society of Djibouti. The International Red Cross and the Red Crescent movement is the largest group of humanitarian organizations in the world. In many cases, refer to the movement simply by saving the Red Cross. Is a French humanitarian aid association founded in 1864. Its goal to help people in difficulty abroad. Its basic missions are emergency, first aid, social actions, training, as well as health and international action. And now let's move on. Continental news. Office by office, the Electoral Commission published live and drove off results of election in South Africa, legislative and provincial election in the form of a test for the ANC in power for 25 years, and the first partial result confirmed his lead after counting behalf of the 23,000 polling stations in the country. Here we arrive at the end of this news edition. Thank you for watching us. Goodbye.